I want more babies in the United States of America.
I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's a little bad. Now, look, in order to actually have this Trump becoming the fertilization president come to fruition, he would need to actually succeed in persuading women, incentivizing families to have children. And interestingly enough, finally, there are members of the Trump administration who are thinking about the right incentives, meaning economic incentives, to get people to consider having children. So the fear of the declining birth rates and creating the all-American family has been a kind of a central focus for the Trump administration and conservatives in general, especially when it comes to people like JD Vance and Elon Musk. Now, to JD Vance's credit, they are at least whiteboarding ways that could make it easier for young parents to bring children into this world, right? And some of these ideas I think are good ideas, to be fair. So for instance, one of the things that's being proposed, one proposal shared with AIDS would reserve 30% of scholarships for the Fulbright program, the prestigious government-backed international fellowship, for applicants who are married or have children. I'm fine with that. I don't really have a problem with that.
Nah, I don't like it. It's dumb. Fulbright scholars for really accomplished students, and if you're, come from a family that has a single mom, and you overcame that, or a single dad, and you overcame that, and you're one of the best students in the country, but we're not going to give it to you because we have a quota for people who came from the right kind of family. Nah, I hate it.
But
so
I like
on
the
principle,
idea.
I hate it.
No, okay, I get the 30% number is a problem, right? I would definitely tinker with it, where if you are a mother, like if you've had children and you're also an excellent scholar, like you should get a little more consideration for the scholarship.
No, but remember, no real person's like, oh, I'm gonna have a kid because now there's a 30% quota for the,
That's not the point I'm making.
Fulbright scholars, et cetera. So I just think that's the most ineffective one. There's another one I like, and then there's a giant one they left out. So let me let you keep going.
Another would give a $5,000 cash baby bonus to every American mother after delivery. I love that idea. In fact, I would bump up the amount significantly.
Really?
Cenk, having kids is torture in this country, okay? It is so expensive. Parents get no support in this country, okay? Childcare is astronomical, okay? The reason why I'm saying that I like these ideas, look, you can persuade me that the Fulbright scholarship idea is dumb, whatever, fine. My point is, generally speaking, these proposals have to do with making life a little easier for parents. Especially economically speaking.
I totally get it. And so I think they're doing it for a little bit of a goofy reason. And actually there's a nefarious reason that I want to mention in a second. But I like some of the ideas too, like the child tax credit. That's
I know, it's groundbreaking. I mean, we have the child tax credit. Let bump it up. Bump it up.
And that's what they're considering.
Yeah.
And the child tax credit, when it was bumped up under Biden the first year, took out about 40 to 50% of child poverty in the country, got rid of it. That's amazing. So I definitely want the child tax credit taken up. And by the way, if the baby bonus comes to a similar conclusion, no problem, right? I just have to see the details of how it works out economically.
Okay, so this is the idea that I think is dumb. And you guys might disagree with me, but a third idea calls on the government to fund programs to educate women on their menstrual cycles, in part so they can better understand when they are ovulating and able to conceive. Based on what we've seen from the government in regard to understanding women's bodies, no, I'd rather not waste taxpayer money on this. Yeah, I think we know how our menstrual cycles work. Okay, we don't need the government to educate us on that.
Okay, so here's a fun, interesting reason that they're doing that. Religious folks don't like that Trump might focus on in vitro fertilization. So one of the things that they're getting as a in return is this nonsense program, because not only does it help you to figure out when you could become pregnant, but it also is how religious folks use the system they use to avoid contraception. So they do the timing and they're like, okay, we'll help avoid a contraception by doing this. All right, but that is not one of our priorities. That's really totally dumb. Yeah, I agree with you, Anna.
By the way, that could also work against what the religious right wants, because you learn about your menstrual cycle, you also learn about when to avoid getting pregnant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's kind of ironic in that one. So the giant one that's left out is paid family leave. And why is it left out? And that leads partly to the nefarious reason. The Heritage Foundation originally came up with this through Project 2025. And it's weird that paid family leave is missing when it's so popular and directly related to this, right?
Is it weird?
And so, well, no, if you cared about the topic, it's super weird, right? But it's because corporations don't want paid family leave.
Exactly, so it's not weird at all. Heritage Foundation, at the end of the day, sure, they might be culturally conservative, but what takes priority over their cultural conservatism? Corporations, baby.
100%. That's why if you look at all these programs, they're geared to make sure it doesn't hurt corporate interests at all. So the Heritage Foundation is culturally conservative, et cetera, but that's mainly a fig leaf. They're a giant corporate think tank.
Yeah.
And so all this is structured to make sure that, okay, maybe we help you with a scholarship at 28 years from now, but don't touch a dollar of corporate money.
Yeah.
Because the most effective thing is actually paid family leave. And it's not mentioned here at all because this is all actually a corporate agenda. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.